The best top expert tips and hacks to make your life better. LifeHakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more.
This is Mary Collins from LifeHakx Media, and I have the pleasure of having Sarah Peak from What I Bought versus What I Got. How are you, Sarah?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. So I'm just going to give a little bit of information about you. Sarah started the company What I Bought versus What I Got a few years ago when she got frustrated at the fact that when she ordered something, it turned out to be a scam, a fake, not what she bought. So this enraged her enough to get started, and now she has thousands of followers and an amazing site on social media telling people how to look out, what to spot, what top hacks there are to find those scams versus quality items. So with that, Sarah, would you like to add anything about the whole process of how you really got going? What was the breaking point that got you to start to investigate?
I've been scammed a lot. And, you know, I think of this thing that started What I Bought versus What I Got as, you know, this springboard that launched me into this outrage to do something about it. But when I start thinking back, there's been many times over the years where I've gotten something where I was like, what the heck is that? You know, and just not really done anything about it. I pitched an entire order worth of clothes one time. And here we are, you know, almost 2 years later, almost 16,000 followers. I don't know how that happened.
Amazing. Well, I think it's because more and more people are having to shop online, and especially with this pandemic, even for people like myself who really want to go into a store physically, you know, meet the staff and support local community stores, we're being forced because of lockdown to actually shop online. And there are some amazing ads, especially on Facebook, you know, where it's like, especially now at Christmas and really wanting to be with my family and wanting to decorate and do these things and Halloween, and then seeing these like amazing singing pumpkins and these cool vampire teeth, and then, you know, this 6 foot or 4 foot size Santa Claus and, you know, train things. And I am not even at an age where I would normally think that I would be like suckered into something like that. But the loneliness aspect of it, the lockdown aspect of it, these things are really stressing people out, and they're trying to stay like above water in their brains. They're trying to stay like, you know, not get depressed. So we're shopping online, and people are getting more and more scams because they're getting really good at this, aren't they? So
yeah, there's that, but there's another contributing factor. I don't know your age, but in my life, I have been able to order things, you know, through catalogs or even online, and gotten what I expected to get every time.
Right,
it took a little longer because mail is, you know, come a long ways, but there is this mentality amongst people my age and slightly younger and definitely older, where we come from an era where when you order something, you got what you ordered.
Right.
It looks like the catalog. It, you know, good quality, lasts a long time. That is not a thing anymore. It's just not.
Right.
LifeHakx.com. That's with a K and an X.
What is the preparation process like creating What I Bought versus What I Got?
Oh man, trial and error. I got really lucky real quick because once I started to see things that pages had in common, it became pretty easy to pick them out. The scary part was that the process was just learn as I go. Really looking at the pages, the first thing I look at is the About Us. Hugely important, and really probably the best tell there is.
I was going to ask you, what are the top hacks or top tips for figuring out what's a scam and what's not, because it is really hard sometimes.
Well, okay. Let's start with felted wool. I don't know if you know anything about felting. It's an expensive process. Wool is expensive. It takes a long time. It is an art. And I think I have those purple hats, that photo that I sent you.
Yes.
Kinds. Those are hundreds of dollars. They have them, you know, it's $69.99 crossed out for $31. No. Doesn't matter. No site is going to be selling a PS3 for $32. It's not
Right.
really. What are they on? PS5 now? Anyway,
So,
that one and then the About Us. Those are my two big ones.
okay. And so when you say the About Us, what exactly do you see in the About Us that's like?
Okay, so they scam pages use, there's dozens of them, but one of my favorites, it starts out, we love every passion and interest on earth. They like fashionista. It's just there's a cadence and a way that they write that is screamingly obvious. I mean, you just know it. And sometimes when I see a new one come up, I'm like, that doesn't read right. Plus, they're often written by someone whose first language isn't English, and that's really painfully obvious. Those two things are my biggest things. But if I have to dig deeper, then I start looking at for an address or phone number. Copy and paste it into your browser, look it up. Hundreds of other scam sites will come up.
Oh, interesting.
My fourth step is generally
what is?
Which will tell me the domain owner and when it was created. Most sites are very new. Like they'll say they've been in business for 15 years and they're About Us, but their domain was registered last month. So they're being dishonest about something so small. It's really a big red flag.
Okay, so About Us, or what is it called? The site that people can sort of search?
Is it whatis.com? It's basically one of those sites you can go to purchase your own domain. And, you type in the name of something to see if someone else has it. Right. And they'll say this is already taken. So you click on that, and the Who Is button, and it'll bring up the whole history of the domain. What it doesn't tell you is, more often than not, it won't tell you who the owner is. And then you get on Facebook and you go to their page and you hit page transparency and you see where they're from. It'll tell you from China or the Philippines or Malaysia or US or whatever. But it'll also sometimes tell you who it belongs to. And there are a lot of big corporations whose subsidiaries are these scam sites. And so when you see I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's ones that are big. That Chickv, CHICV. If you see that on anything, it's a scam.
Wow. So it makes you wonder, how is Facebook allowing this? Yeah. Scammers are how are they getting away with this?
They're paying Facebook to run their ads. Facebook is making millions from defrauding their members, and they do not care. They know, and I get this daily. How is Facebook letting this happen? They don't care. They just do not care about the people that they have on their platform.
That's terrifying, So how time consuming is this for you to sit there and look through the different ads to find out what's real and what's fake? It must take up quite a lot of time.
Sometimes it takes a second. Sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes I'm still questioning my decision 2 days later. It is time consuming. If I kept track once upon a time, and it was 80 hours a week. I mean, it's a daily, day in, day out thing
explain to our audience why you're in Facebook jail so they don't get the wrong impression.
Well, I get put in Facebook jail for saying things I shouldn't to scammers sometimes because, believe it or not, it's really hard not to say something when they are challenging you, which they do. They'll hit me up on my messenger and say horrible things to me. And so I get on their page and write a review or something, and I'll get banned for bullying is actually one of the good ones I think is hilarious. But this time I believe it's from reporting scams on Facebook Marketplace. I did about 100 yesterday, and about 4 o'clock, I got warned that I'd been banned. And it was because of that. Because
you called someone out on factual information.
Yeah. I appeared to be bullying. Okay.
I don't understand the whole bullying of businesses. I don't get that. It's I see boycotts happening all the time of businesses because of certain reasons of people's opinions on certain things. But you're not even bullying people because of your opinion of their religion or their political view. You're literally just saying you guys are scammers, quit it, or, be more honest, or change your style. It's like, I don't get that. That's crazy.
There's no conscience involved here. There's no heart or soul. It's all driven by the almighty dollar, and it's disgusting. It's just
LifeHakx.
Name. I think you said on your Facebook page that the name gives a lot of clues as well, because some of the names are just plain ridiculous.
I am not lying here. There is a site called the Coke Store, Koke. They sell Christmas crap. There is one called Pnooty, Pnooty, and I look at that and I'm just like, really? But my favorite one is the As Cozy Jockstrap Store, which also sells Christmas stuff. They pull names. Oh, there was one called Karen the other day, the Karen site. Oh my gosh. They're just following social media and seeing what words come up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then when it comes down to it, how do we find, like, I found those cool looking vampire teeth and I was like, oh, I want these so badly. And this really pretty dress. And I was like, but, it's obviously they've stolen certain things from actual sites. How do you go about finding where the legitimate products are?
That's kind of fun, actually. And it's a puzzle, and I love puzzles and riddles. But I will start with a reverse image search, and it'll kick back, 1,000 scam sites, which is really a good indication that it's no longer in production, that it's not legitimately in production. But sometimes, just by reading the descriptions, you're like, okay, that sounds real. And then you start looking into, like, Pinterest is a great resource, even though they have millions of scams on their page. It's also a really great place to find if something somebody liked once upon a time and put on their page will come up in these searches, and then you can find who the original designer was. Type it in. Sometimes they'll still have a store on Etsy. Sometimes they'll be long gone. But you can say, okay, this is where this came from. This is how much it cost. And it's no longer in production. You can't buy it anywhere. Mm-hmm. So if you bought it, you're getting either nothing like what you thought you were getting, or something completely different. Like last year during this time, we had many people ordering this I think it was a palm tree cat scratcher, and they were all sent a little tiny owl watch necklace instead. Hundreds of people had this happen.
The worst is that when I'm on your site, I actually want to put laughing face, but I know it's wrong. But it's just so funny. Like the one that I love the best is the realistic looking toy dog. It's an actual dog that they do a video of, right? I'm like, how do people fall for that? Like, how stupid are people that they would fall for that?
They're stupid. And yes, okay, to a certain degree, I don't like calling people stupid.
No, I know. I'm sorry. Apologies to all the
No. I understand, because this is something that the comments are. Yes, they're laughing faces. There's people saying, how could they have fallen for this? Well, whatever the reason, I really loved those boots. And if I had thought, well, for me, $70 to $100 is a lot to spend on a pair of shoes. Granted, they were boots and they were leather, and I should have known better. But really, I didn't. I just was like, oh, cool, I want these. And
yeah,
I'm not stupid.
No, I know what you mean. And actually, there are some quality things. There are some quality things. I remember being a kid and having a real baby, and that baby to me looked really real.
Oh, you know? Have those.
Yeah, so I can see how even like someone like myself, maybe in another 10, 15 years, I might see something that looks like a puppy and be like, it must be like a real baby, right? Because there are some really wonderful artists that can do.
Come a long ways. And, it's not outside the realm of possibility to order something like this and actually get what you thought you were going to get. However, you're not going to get it for $50. You're not going to get it for $100. And
saying that now, I've seen that some of the sites are getting sneaky, right? Like there's some that it has an item and it says like 1,000, and you're like, well, that's also ridiculous, for the same product. So that's, how do you know? I mean, aren't they catching up?
It's even more ridiculous is those sites that are so brazen are still making money. People are like, well, this is $250 down from $600. That's not an insane thing to think, okay? Because they made too many handbags. They're just running them out of stock. They need space. Who knows? That is not outside the realm of possibility. But it's still a scam. They're still spending $250 on something that's $1,000. But I would also go and research how much something costs or should cost.
Right. Spend a few minutes and do some research. Top hacks. 1, look at the name and think about how possibly ridiculous it is. And really, 2nd, look at the About You page, right? And see how bad the spelling is and the words, if it's a repetitive sort of thing, like some of our news. They're all saying exactly the same thing. There might be something wrong.
Right.
3, the reverse thing, which is very interesting, where you use an app or a Google that looks for the image that you want so that you can find out where it's coming from, possibly, and see how many other places are supposedly selling it, and then maybe actually find the original person who's selling it. So that helps.
At that point, you're really getting into where, it is rare when I can't find something. Yeah. And if I can't find it anywhere, it's been out of production so long that there's just no way, or it's been photoshopped so many times, there's no way to know what it is. But with the name, when you read a name of a business, they want you to remember the name of their business. Now, if they have a name that you couldn't possibly remember on your very best day, that's a scam. No one spells their names wrong. Yes, they say cute things like
LifeHakx
or whatever. Yeah, but that sticks with you.
Yeah. And then you said also on the About You section, you look and you'll see that where is it actually made or where they're coming from. You can go on the Facebook and you can where on the Facebook do you look up that information?
This is so funny because it should be right at the top, but it's not. Go to their page and first look and see if there's a review tab. Most of them will not have it. Some of them will, and there will be negative reviews. Ask me. Get on What I Bought versus What I Got and say, hey,
exactly.
Sarah, here's the site. Can you look at it? And even if you don't want to do any of it, it will take me a tenth as long as it will most people to try and figure this stuff out.
Right, exactly. And anyone that's interested in the meantime about What I Bought versus What I Got, and you also have a sister site as well, I believe.
Love What I Got, yeah, which, fun. This is actually one of the fun things about doing this is getting to find and meet these designers. What an amazing group of people, and met some of the most amazing women and men who are swimming upstream in this scam thing. And some of them are like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. But a lot of them are going under because of it. And it's just so unfair. But I Love What I Got focuses on the true designers. Everyone that's on, it has its own list. We do have the list on What I Bought versus What I Got, which is probably something that really makes us stand out. It's thousands of scam sites long, but it's alphabetized. You can look it up. But,
great. And
its own list. But,
Love What I Got is the other one. Is that the sister site? Is it attached also to Facebook?
Yeah, both of them.
Okay. So for anyone who's interested, check out facebook.com/What I Bought VS versus What I Got, or the sister site, which again is Facebook, Love What I Got.
Love What I Got, yeah.
Love What I Got. But also you'll be able to find the links directly on lifehakx.com in our contributors section, as well as hopefully we will have Sarah doing some blogs for us and getting some support out there for her. So thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
The best top expert tips and hacks to make your life better. LifeHakx. Technology, business, multimedia, wellness and health, events, reviews, and more. LifeHakx. LifeHakx.com. That's with a K and an X.